Welcome to another video in my series of your home ownership journey, your successful roadmap to home ownership. So today I am here with Brenda. She is the owner of, co-owner with your husband, right?
Yes.
With Inspector Tony Home Inspections. I've known her for years. She's very active in the real estate community and is awesome. So she works directly with all of her inspectors or realtors or clients when she's not doing inspections, which she is almost always doing. She volunteers with a local nonprofit called Youth Impact, which is a super cool charity that helps kids with like an after school program. They have generated over $300,000 for that over the years, which is amazing. She loves meeting new people and loves traveling. So thank you so much for coming. So what we've been talking about in these videos is like just kind of every step of the process of buying a home and owning a home. So a critical part of like the purchase process is getting an inspection.
Right.
What does an inspector actually do?
The inspector is meant, so when you're buying a home, it's very emotional. So you're seeing all the beautiful parts of the home. You're not being realistic of any of the things that need to be fixed, or you're looking at the cosmetic things in the home.
Yep.
So the inspectors, what they do is they look at the bones of the home, the structure, the foundation, the major appliances, the electrical panel, the attic or crawl space, stuff that nobody really looks at.
For sure. Yep.
So nobody's opening up an electrical panel and checking that unless they're an electrician. Then that's something that they focus on.
Yeah.
And nobody's making sure that there's any rust in the furnace or deferred maintenance. So all these things that show proof that it's working, and it gives you an estimate of how much of a lifespan you have as well.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I didn't think about that. A lot of people on my side can confuse the appraisal with the inspection. So I wanted to clarify that. So I, as the lender, will order anything that's required for the loan, which is the appraisal. The inspection is not required on my side. However,
Not
it's worth,
at all.
or not required at all. Yeah. However, it's worth every penny that you spend. The appraiser's main job is to determine the value of the home. They don't really go through every tiny little thing like Brenda and her team does. So I end up having that conversation a lot. You guys are really going through, and like you said, opening everything and checking the electrical, and you got your cool little heat thing. And all the cool tools I know nothing about. They do all of that stuff, and you can test for all sorts of other things too, right? So you have your basics, and then what else can you add on?
Yes, so the basic inspection does include thermal imaging, and how we work is as a team. So when Tony first started, it was just Tony, so it's Inspector Tony. And we realized that everybody sees things differently. So having two people there is a safety net, not just for the client, but for us. That we've had people walk in, we've had, people walk out that we're supposed to be there. So you just want to be safe, and you want to catch as much as you can in the 2 hours that you're there.
Yep.
So we don't live there for weeks. There's going to be stuff that we don't see.
Yeah.
But in 2 hours for two people, that's 4 man hours. There's a lot that we do see.
Yeah, well, like you're getting on the roof, you're going in the basement, the attic, you're doing all of that,
all
right?
The stuff.
Yeah. So they're crawling around and taking
tons of pictures, documentation.
Yeah, pictures of everything. The report's how many pages usually?
On the low end, it's probably about 80 pages. On the high end, it's probably about 150.
Yeah.
So it can vary depending on the home. But the additional tests that we do are radon, meth, and mold testing.
Okay, cool. So yeah, those are additional to your basic. What are probably some of the most common issues that come up on an inspection?
Missing GFCIs every single time.
Oh,
easy.
Okay.
It's an easy fix. A lot of the water heaters are missing some of the safety features like seismic straps, expansion tanks.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are
some of the older homes.
Fix.
Yeah, probably
sometimes even
some of that stuff. Yeah.
Even newer units, because we are a DIY state. So a lot of people think that they can just replace the water heater themselves, which they probably can, but they don't know what code is, and code is adding these extra features to it.
Yeah, the earthquake strap pops up on appraisals all the time. That's required. So what are people, like when they get their report from you, what should they be looking for? Like obviously you're going to point out GFI and those are easy, simple things, but I think really you're looking for major issues, right? So what should they actually watch for from
safety
on their report?
items. So we try to make everyone's life easier where we have a summary at the very beginning of the report, and that has all repair and safety items.
Okay.
So it makes everybody's life easier. If you don't want to read 150 pages, you can read the summary, and then that's your to-do list. And the safety items. So if there's double tap breakers in the electrical panel, have that checked out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are major things. If the roof needs repair, have a roofer come and check it. They usually do it for free to come and check, and then you have an idea of what the cost would be to repair.
Yep. Yeah. So usually like big ticket items, right? That are going to need to be fixed or need to be replaced probably in the next couple of years is usually what I tell people. Sometimes people get a little panicked. They're like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff wrong with my house. And a lot of it is minor.
Honey-do list.
Yeah. Stuff to give your husband to do for sure. So you really want to know, like, is there mold? Is there electrical problems? Is there problems in the foundation? You know, the big ticket items that would really cause some trouble for you down the road. Are there any certain areas of homes that tend to have more issues than others?
No.
Okay.
There's some older homes that have been very well taken care of, and they don't have a lot of issues besides the normal galvanized plumbing, you know, outlets that are not grounded, and that's going to be standard for an older home. But that doesn't mean that the newer home is
better,
free of any
sure.
issues.
Oh, sure.
You know,
that's
so
a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's every home, whether it's new or old, you're going to change something, you're going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be some. It's kind of like a car.
Yeah.
Right? You're always going to have to do oil changes, replace your tires, belts. So as long as you remember that it's just because it's not moving, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have parts that it needs to be replaced.
Well, and you are, after you buy it, you're the owner. You're responsible for what happens. Years ago, I had some clients call me. They had bought a home. They're first-time home buyers. They called me probably 6 months later, and they said, there's a problem with our roof. Like, who do we call? What do we do? I said, well, you're going to call her. And they were a little shocked that like, oh, wait, there's, you know, I'm responsible for that. Yeah. So it's part of your homework and due diligence on the home is doing this inspection. And having a professional look at that is, like I said, worth every penny. So let's say you bought the home. Now you're the homeowner. What are things they miss a lot or easy things they can do to kind of like keep their home in good shape?
Always replace your furnace filters. I didn't know this. Nobody told me I had furnace filters. So it was kind of a shock for me to be like, I have something else to do. Like, It's important because it's not just for the air, because you want good quality air, but it's also for the lifespan of your furnace unit.
Right.
So it's, you know, it works both ways.
Yeah. Those little, like, the nests or whatever help now, right? Because they put it on the
just
automatic.
Put it on your calendar every 3 months. Just replace it out, you know?
Yeah.
Easy fix.
Right. Yep. What about like big ticket items, roofs, plumbing, anything you can do to kind of help those live a little longer? Yeah.
So what nobody does is they don't seal their exposed nails on the roof.
Oh.
So
we probably haven't done that.
Right. Nobody does that. So if you just go up on your roof once a year, seal those nails, walk around the roof, and then you check and see, is there something up there that shouldn't be up there? You know?
Yeah, who's going on their roof once
no
a
one's
year?
going
Probably.
on their roof.
Your kids.
And they're not supposed to.
Don't let them.
But when you're out there cleaning the rain gutters, check the roof.
Okay. I will.
You're already
put
up
that
there.
On my honey-do list.
Yeah.
So we touched on this a little bit when people make upgrades or improvements, like some of the code things, safety things. What are other things, like if you're updating your house? What are some recommendations for people doing that?
So if you're updating, just make sure that you're either abiding by your city or get a licensed contractor, obviously.
Yep.
Because there's GFCIs that are necessary in a lot of places that have been updated. So if the laundry has been remodeled, slap a GFCI on there.
Yeah.
Easy. But there's a lot of people that just, they miss those things and then they have to go back and do it. So it's easier to do it while you're in the planning process.
Torn apart,
and when the electrician's already there, instead of having to call him back. To do a GFCI is easy. If you're handy, you don't need an electrician. But some people are scared, and that's okay. So
Yeah, definitely use your resources and get it done right. So we're in northern Utah. We obviously experience all 4 seasons, temperature swings. How does that affect our houses? Like, so for people who are moving here, maybe from Southern California or in places that don't have like 110 to 20 degree swings, how does that affect our house?
So there's a lot of misconceptions. So they think like on the AC unit, they think they need to cover them in the winter.
Oh yeah, I've never done that.
Don't cover it in the winter. So I mean, it's meant to be outside. It's
Yeah.
a unit meant to be outside. And when you're covering these units, what ends up happening is critters get in there.
Oh.
Because they're looking for a warm place.
Right.
And they chew up the wires. Another thing that ends up happening is you're trapping that moisture, so you're going to get premature rust on your unit. And the third thing is, forbid that you turn on the AC unit and forget to take off that cover.
Yeah, that would be bad.
So it's a lot of things that people, all of us, I've seen it everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're not used to all 4 seasons, you think that you have to protect that unit. You don't. It's fine to be outside.
Okay, good to know. Yeah. All right. Well, any final words of advice for homeowners, potential home buyers? It doesn't have to be about inspections or maintenance. Just home owning, home buying in general.
Just don't be afraid when you're doing the home inspection. It's not a pass or fail.
Right. That's a great way to put it.
It's not a pass or fail. This is your honey-do list. This is things that you need to look at. And then also, if you're looking for a home inspector, just make sure price is not your deciding factor. Mm-hmm. So because there are no guidelines in Utah, there's no requirements for any certifications, licenses, anything.
I did not know that. So what are they looking for to protect themselves?
To make sure that they're certified, because they're not, it's not a requirement. And also, what do they offer? So because there are no guidelines in our state, no one is going to offer the exact same thing. So thermal imaging is not a requirement because there's no guidelines for that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So just make sure that price isn't your deciding factor. How we work is as a team.
Yep.
Because we found that we do a better job that way for our client, and we want to make sure that we're doing a better job. So
yeah, I will say the home inspection is unless you choose to test everything, right? Obviously, the more you add on, but the home inspection is probably one of the cheapest things you'll do in the whole home buying process. Yeah. And so I can't really stress this enough, but literally it is worth every penny. I can't tell you how many deals I've had where they found something that was a deal killer for them. That's cheap money to spend to find out there's going to be a $20,000 repair down the road. So
yeah, we just did this the other day where Tony said your AC system needs to be checked out because we're not licensed HVAC technicians.
Yes. Yep.
We're not licensed plumbers. That's not what it is. But if there's something that seems wrong, we're going to tell you, hey, you need to defer to this licensed professional. And it was a $10,000 fix.
Yeah. Some of those, that's really what you're looking for, is like those big ticket items that you're not going to, after you spent all the money to get in your home with your down payment and your closing costs and everything, you don't want to turn around 6 months later and have to put in a new furnace. That would not be ideal.
Unless you were planning for it.
Yes,
right?
Unless you knew and you had the money set aside. So if you know and you're okay with that, then that's great. If you don't know, that's when people get upset. Yeah. Nobody likes a surprise bill. So, well, thank you so much. How do people get a hold of you?
So our website is inspectortonyhomeinspections.com. And the phone number on there is actually my cell phone number. So 385-288-0749. I'm available every day.
She answers everything.
I do answer all the time. And then we're also doing a fundraiser. Is it okay?
Yeah.
So we're doing a fundraiser for Youth Impact for our local nonprofit September 20th at the Monarch. So if you're interested in doing anything like that, just let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.